Good afternoon. And welcome to those who are already inside. Thank you for joining us. And so we're not starting yet. We'll be starting at exactly 5 o'clock. And welcome to all those who are here. Just a quick check, no? Can you type 1 if this is your first time to join our free webinar? And 2 if this is not your first time and if you've joined before. And thank you for those. And also, if you're from HR or from another department, if you're from, let's say, operations or marketing, I hope it's all right. Can you type that in on the chat box so we can identify your roles? Huh? So you can type HR or the department that you belong to, or you can actually also be specific as to if you would like to share your role in your company right now. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay. Yeah, so we'll be starting at exactly 5 o'clock. Before we start, i-share ko na rin ang ating mga house rule. No? So keep your, very important, keep your audio on mute. We'll have some time for Q&A later. But if you would like to put in your questions, that's of course related to our topic for today, you're welcome to type that in on the chat box. All right, so see you in about 6 minutes. Again, thank you and welcome everyone. I'll see you in a bit. And good afternoon once again, everyone. Welcome to our free webinar offering for April, no? So bago matapos ang April, we're giving you this free webinar, Top 10 HR Metrics Every HR Should Know. Ayan. So we're going to have this free talk for about 1 hour or 60 minutes. And we'll have some Q&A after the presentation. So if you want to put your questions or your feedback, of course, that's related to our topic, you may do so. Put them on the chat box. No? And the recording of this webinar will also be available on our YouTube channel. You can just search us at Talent Reach. No? Because I think for Facebook, they can only hold the video for not as long as it has. So we're moving our free webinars to our YouTube channel. So allow me to introduce myself. By the way, my name is Aimee Turla. I am the project manager for Talent Reach. Yeah. So before we start, I would just like to introduce for those who are joining us. I see that earlier today I asked kung sino yung mga first time. So medyo marami-rami tayo, no? So let me just share my screen. Yun. Yeah, okay. I hope everyone can see my screen. So just a bit of introduction, who is Talent Reach? So Talent Reach started in 2015. We are a human resource training and management consultancy, and we are dedicated to empowering organizations with our strategic people solutions. So we specialize in designing and customizing training programs on leadership development, performance management, HR, and HR consulting services. So these are our core services. No? So we do HR administration, performance management, job evaluation and analysis, and designing pay and salary structure. These are the in-house programs that we conduct. So you can do a screenshot if you like. So if you would like to inquire about these training services, you're very much welcome to reach out to us. And so we have the basic supervisory, people management, essentials of coaching, performance coaching, and our signature programs, which is discovering emotional intelligence, developing emotional intelligence. These are also some of our customized training programs on recruitment and selection, succession planning, compensation management. These are our upcoming free webinars. So just do a screenshot. Anyway, if you're already following us, or if you're not following us yet, we recommend that you follow us on our Facebook page, so that you will be notified when we announce our next free programs, as well as our paid programs. And with that, I would like to invite everyone. We're having our very first run. This used to be an exclusive program that we conduct in-house now with our clients, but we're opening it on as a public program. This is happening on May 30th. It's a whole day program. It's going to be at the Richmond Hotel in Ortigas. And it will include all the meals, no, some morning snacks, lunch, and afternoon snacks. We'll be providing the necessary materials, including a handout and all the forms and templates that will be used. No, so we will be reaching out to you on what you need, what is required that you bring, and so that you can maximize this learning session. Okay. And we have only limited seats, no? So we will invite you to, we actually have a special offer, but we'll do that later. So we will only have or accept up to 20, no? So that we have a more focused, kasi pag medyo madami, since this is a writing workshop, mas gusto namin mas matutukan yung mga participants. Okay? Ayan. So these are our upcoming workshops, no? So the next one after the writing effective job description will be the HR skills workshop. This is also a signature one. So we'll be announcing that. And also our most in demand, which is the job evaluation and designing pay structure. This will be happening in July. And of course, our premium masterclass program, the HR Compass Masterclass, this will be batch 7. No? So we haven't had this program run for I think 2 years now. So we're going to have a run this year. Ayan. And of course, the salary structure analysis and budgeting. So you have the contact information there. So if you are interested and would like to know more about these programs, you're welcome to reach out to us. So we are on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. So I hope that you can check us out. These are our contact information. So you can also reach out to us on Viber through Talent Reach. All right. So let me just stop share. I'm going to just share a short video. No. Last year we've had successful runs of several programs. So we'd like to just share our milestones with you. So, Justin. Okay lang. I'm on mute. Yan. Thank you for watching that. To introduce our speaker, here's a short video to get to know who will be our trainer and host for today. Hey, let's all welcome our host and speaker for today's free webinar, Talent Reach Managing Director and Founder, Mr. Ronnie Turla, Certified Organizational and Development Professional.
Good afternoon and welcome everyone for this free webinar for this month of April, the top 10 HR metrics that every HR should know. So we'd like to welcome everyone. Thank you for devoting this time to be able to join us for this program. And I hope that you will find this as an informative session, just like what we have been doing for several years already as a consulting company, and we have offered free webinars like this at least on a once a month basis. No, and again, we see a lot of regular attendees, no, as well as some new faces. No, so we'd like to welcome you in this particular webinar. So I hope you can you will enjoy this short, no, but again, meaning a particular program. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So for this, no, for this afternoon, we will consider that this program will teach us something new, no, for this particular program. Ayan. I just like to just get no a feel if ever yung aking audio is clear for everyone, so that you can maximize this entire program. Can you give me a thumbs up sign if you're able to hear my voice very clearly? Ayan. Okay. There. Okay. Sige. Um, so again, no, the topic for today is the top 10 HR metrics, no, for HR, no. That's why we devoted this particular topic because of its relevance right now, no. So I hope yung mga uma-attend for us for this afternoon will be able to get valuable information and resources for today. Yeah. Okay. So let me get straight, no, dun sa ating topic itself, no, that we're going to talk about for this afternoon. Okay, so as you can see, here are some of the agenda items that we're going to cover for the next few minutes, no, and hopefully, no, at the last part of our session, yung ating question and answer will be our time for us to be able to ask any questions regarding the topic that we have discussed. No? So we would definitely like you to post your questions. You may also unmute, no, if ever you have questions that you would like to be answered as part of this webinar. Okay. So first part of our agenda is we're going to understand what HR metrics are. No? So I'll give you a brief background about what HR metrics are. No? And of course, no, we're going to go deeper for every HR metric, no, so that we can see how it is applied, no, in the field of HR. Then, of course, we are not just going to discuss, no, the conceptual aspect of the HR metric, but we're also going to look at some case studies, you know. So I'm going to share with you two particular case studies on the foreign, no, or international cases where HR metrics has been used, no, to be able to improve the performance of the company, improve the employee performance, as well as improve job satisfaction. No, I'm also going to cite two local cases, no, two particular Philippine organizations, and ano ba yung naging nangyari sa kanila, paano nakatulong yung ating HR metrics, no? And in between, I'll be sharing some particular cases, no, on my own experience as a consultant. No? As you all know, I am a full-time human resource consultant and then also as a speaker. No, that's why I'm able to gather, no, experiences from my own experiences. No, ayan. Okay, ayan. So that's what we're going to cover for this afternoon. No, so I hope you will all be able to benefit, no, from this particular program. No, of course, before we go to the actual topic proper, no, I would like us to participate in a very quick survey with our first survey question. No? So ating survey question, ang question natin is, what are possible reasons why companies don't use HR metrics effectively? No? Ayan, yun yung ating survey question. So we have posted the link in the chat box. No? So feel free to check, no, that link, no, so that you can try to answer. Ayan. Okay. So again, the question is, what are possible reasons why companies don't use HR metrics effectively? No? So I'd like you to choose, no, what are possible reasons bakit natin masasabi na hindi natin nagagamit yung metrics effectively. Ayan. Okay? So again, there are no right and wrong answers here. This is just a survey question so that we can be able to again take a pulse, no, of yung ating participants, no, na nandito sa loob ng Zoom, no? Ayan. Okay? Sige, so I think you are already starting to answer and post your answer to the question, no? Let's try to give time para makita natin what is the general answer to this particular question. Ayan. Okay. Okay. There. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Very good. No? So far, we've been seeing some very good, no, results from this particular survey. No? Ayan. Sige, let's try to see kung meron pang sasagot, ano, from our participants right now. Ayan. Ayan. So far, no, from the survey that we have seen, no, lumalabas na wow. Okay, so medyo may konti pang nangyayari dun sa ating survey question. So let's allow the others to still answer before we try to um, comment on this particular survey. Ayan. Okay. There. Okay. Sige. So I think, no, looking at generally, no, yung survey natin, nakikita natin that um the top, no, answers for this particular survey question would be resistance to change, no, and then of course the lack of knowledge or skill, no. So I think, no, tama sometimes, no, yun yung generally kapag merong something new or hindi na implement sa company, makikita natin that this is the ano, no, the reasons, yung resistance to change, the lack of knowledge or skill. That's the reason why, no, when there is a change effort, no, kung gusto natin mag-implement ng change effort sa isang company, we really need to be able to provide and communicate information, no? If need be, no, kailangan natin mag-train doon sa mga tao natin, no? Because for change to happen, no, para magkaroon tayo ng changes sa organization, kailangan natin ng information, no, and also inspiration, sabi nga nila, no, whenever there's a change effort pagdating sa organizations. Okay. So Second to the ano, no, makikita natin poor data quality, no? So siguro, no, one of the things also that also prevents you from tracking the metrics particularly would be yung quality ng data, no? So yun. So as we will see later, importante na meron tayong information system like an HRIS that you can use to be able to track such metrics, no? So sometimes of course kung limited yung resources natin, pwede nating masabi that somehow no yung using yung mga typical software applications is already enough, no? Pero of course, no, as technology advances right now, no, merong mga available technology na pwedeng gamitin yung company pagdating sa tracking of metrics in this case, no? Ayan. So later on, we will try to look into that, no? But again, thank you very much for answering this particular survey, no? I appreciate your participation in this survey question. Okay. Let us now go back, no, dun sa ating module proper. Ayan. So again, no, just to let everyone know, no, for those wanting to get hold, no, of yung ating handout, no, as well as a certificate of attendance, you can just reach out to us, no, reach out to IME, no. Mamaya mag-a-announce kami dun sa email address and contact number if you would like to get the copy of this particular presentation material. Okay? Ayan. Okay, so the first part of our webinar this afternoon is for us to understand the HR metric, no? As we've said, we will try to understand it, no? And then eventually, we'll go to the details of each metric, no? And then at the latter portion, we will talk about some case studies kung paano siya in-apply, no? So that we will get to understand exactly, no? Kasi sometimes if it's something new for us na maintindihan yung HR metric, sometimes kapag walang application, no, it becomes very conceptual for us, no? So, ipapakita natin mamaya, no, through the case studies, paano siya ginamit ng company and how it was contributory to the success or to the solving of a particular problem in the organization. Okay? Yeah. So, first off, when you talk about HR metrics, yung HR metrics natin provide valuable insights, no, to the workforce, enabling organizations to understand yung employee performance and engagement level, no? So kung titingnan natin, importante na meron tayong measurement, no? In the in the age of HR, no, being relevant to the organization or to the business, makikita natin na kailangan meron tayong mga objective measurement, no, pagdating sa HR. Hindi na lang pwede tayo na we're trying to follow the traditional HR of we're trying to be the administrative expert in the company. Kailangan meron tayong data to back it up, no? And for us to be able to be more credible in the organization. Okay? Another thing, HR metrics helps us in tracking performance over time, no? Allowing organizations to make data-driven decisions to enhance workforce productivity, no? The good thing with HR metrics is that somehow, no, since organizations or other companies are also tracking such metrics, for example, there's what we call benchmarking, no? And I think in the future, no, one of the future webinar that we're going to offer from Talent Teach is yung HR benchmarking, no? So I hope you can try to take note of that. No, we will try to offer that later in this year, no? But it is very important for us to have a skill kung paano ba tayo pwedeng mag-benchmark, no? Because some of the metrics here are being practiced by other organizations. So kailangan meron din tayong capacity to do some research, no? In terms of yung ano ba yung current level nitong organization na to, no? Especially if we're trying to compete with them, kailangan alam natin yung mga metrics na yan. Okay? Also, by identifying the trends in the HR metric, organizations can support the strategic planning and align yung workforce initiative with the goals of the organization. Okay? So, that's basically what HR metrics are. Now, meron tayong tinatawag na types of HR metrics. Ano tong mga types of HR metrics? Meron tayong tinatawag na operational metrics, which focuses on day-to-day HR functions, such as yung time to hire or employee turnover rates, no? Helping improve the process. So pag sinabi nating operational metrics, these are metrics that we are trying to track and monitor because it helps us improve the process. Okay? Kasi one of the typical KPIs na magandang gamitin is yung tinatawag nating process KPIs or key performance indicator. And this is one of them. No? So kung titingnan natin yung time to hire, employee turnover rates, for example, no? Nakakatulong sa atin yan, no? Because it's an indicator for HR of how effective or how efficient we are. Okay? So yun yung pinapakita natin na when we're able to provide metrics, no, napapakita natin sa company na effective tayo doon sa ginagawa nating trabaho. Okay? Another type of HR metric would be the strategic metrics. Strategic metrics focuses on the long-term HR goals, measuring aspects like employee engagement and productivity. No? Mamaya pag-uusapan natin yan, yung aspect ng employee engagement, no? Because unfortunately, no, employee engagement is not just, parang making employee happy or, parang enjoying in the company. But of course, it's part of it, pero it's more than that, no? Because parang for me kasi employee engagement is paano nagko-contribute, no, yung employee doon sa kanyang trabaho and yung level of engagement niya, no, is na ma-maximize niya ba yung kanyang talents and skills, no, doon sa organization para magstay siya, no, to have enough reason so that the person will be engaged and retained in the organization. Okay? So that's the second type of HR metric. The third type is what we call compliance metric. Compliance metrics monitors adherence to laws and regulations, no, including no workforce diversity and equal employment opportunities, no. Now that we are, in a global perspective, no, nandun na tayo na ang HR hindi na lang siya local practice, kundi makikita natin that it is practiced universally, no, in different countries. Meron silang kanya-kanyang HR standards, no. So in this case, kailangan din natin alam yung mga compliance metrics na tinatawag natin. So those are the three types of HR metrics that we can consider, no, pagdating sa HR metrics. Now, ano yung mga benefits that we can generate from using HR metric? So, number one, no, definitely makikita natin ng isang benefit, no, is enhanced decision making. No, HR when it provides no data-driven insights will enhance the decision making process within organization, leading to better outcomes. So, for example, when we're talking about recruitment, no, pag pinag-usapan natin yung tinatawag nating metric of yield ratio, no? Ano ibig sabihin ng yield ratio? Yung yield ratio, ginagamit natin yan to be able to focus on anong recruitment channel or recruitment sources yung nagbibigay sa atin ng um, highest chance for us to get very good applicants that will eventually become our employees. So when we're able to track that, for example, nakakatulong yon in the company to be able to put more no, resources and more budget doon sa recruitment source na yan. Para alam natin kung saan ba tayo dapat mag-focus. Kasi di ba, there are different sources of recruitment or talent acquisition. Pero meron tayong mga particular sources na masasabi na pinaka-effective. And you can only know that if you're going to use metrics. Okay? So that's one benefit of using the HR metric. Second, improve employee performance. So by tracking performance metrics, organizations can implement strategies to improve employee performance and productivity. No? Bakit natin sinabi? For example, no, if we're going to use the metric of attendance, no, yung absenteeism rate, for example, nakakatulong siya because para malaman natin ano yung nagko-cause doon sa absenteeism. No? Kapag minomonitor natin yung attendance level ng ating mga employees, no, it gives us a chance to be able to say or to even ask questions, bakit kaya nagkakaroon ng ganong mataas na sick leave or yung mga people who are taking a wall or parang bakit ang daming absent, for example, in particular department. No? In that case, nalalaman natin kung ano yung possible causes, and then eventually, we will try to be able to provide solutions to it. Again, that's the beauty of using the HR metric. Okay? Another benefit of using the HR metric would be utilizing the metric to identify factors affecting employee retention, allowing organizations to create effective retention strategies. So later on, we will talk more about that, no? Because sabi nga natin, no, one of the things that HR can do, no, to get, to build credibility is for you to be able to hire and retain good talents in the organization. Okay? That's why kapag mataas yung retention rate mo, no, sa company, definitely, no, plus point yan sa management para sabihin na effective yung HR ko. Okay? So again, that's one of the benefit of using the HR metric. Another is, of course, optimizing the recruitment process. Okay? So HR metrics enable the organizations to analyze and optimize the recruitment process, no, ensuring that we attract the right talent in the organization. Okay? So yan ang ilan sa mga benefits ng using HR metric. Now, the question is, paano ba natin i-analyze yung HR metrics natin? Here are some steps. Okay? So first off, ang unang step natin para ma-analyze natin yung mga HR metrics natin, kailangan nating mag-identify ano yung key metrics natin. No? So we need to determine which HR metrics are most relevant to your organizational goal. Okay? Common metrics such as employee turnover rate, time to hire, employee engagement score, absenteeism rates, and training effectiveness. No? So these are, parang if you will notice here, these are key metrics na kapag minonitor natin siya, as we will see later, makikita natin that it could possibly explain kung ano yung nangyayari sa company. Okay? And again, remember, it is connected to the goal of the organization. Because remember, no, whenever we talk about business goal, no, there are generally three, no, goals in a company. One is profitability, second is productivity, and third is quality. No? So all of those, no, yung profitability, quality, and productivity, lahat yan konektado dito sa mga sinasabi nating metrics, for example. No? For example, turnover rate. No? Makikita natin kapag mataas yung turnover rate natin, ang tinatamaan sa atin is productivity. No? And eventually, ang tinatamaan din sa company is yung quality ng produkto, quality ng employees natin. No? So all of these things add up to each other. That's why we can identify the key metric. Okay? The second step in analyzing the HR metric is to collect the data. Okay? So in collecting the data, we gather the data from various sources such as HRIS, if you have, surveys, performance review, and attendance record. No? We have to ensure that the data is accurate and up to date. Okay? So part of it, makikita natin na kailangan alam natin kung saan natin kukolektahin yung data natin. Okay? So this is the second step for analyzing the HR metric. The third step is to analyze the data. No? So in analyzing the data, we can use statistical methods and tools to analyze the data. No? This can involve calculating averages, calculating percentages, and trends over time. No? So advanced analytics could include predictive modeling and correlation. So itong advanced analytics kung titingnan natin, no, it might sound very highfalutin, no, or very strange to us, no? But this is actually happening kung titingnan natin. Meron tinatawag na advanced analytics wherein, no, organizations who get to use it, no, can predict, no, what's going to happen. No? For example, yung kanilang job satisfaction, mapipredict na nila, for example, kung magkaroon sila ng, kunyari, new rewards program in the company. Sa tingin ba nila, magkakaroon ng increased job satisfaction in the organization? So definitely, they can predict such particular occurrence. So yun yung beauty of analyzing that particular data pagdating sa metrics natin. Okay? So that's the third step. Okay. The fourth step, of course, is to interpret the results. No? Translating the data into meaningful insights. No? For example, if the turnover rate is high, you need to identify ano yung patterns or factors contributing to the issue, no? Such as, for example, baka merong mga department or specific trends or employee feedback, no, that are affecting, for example. That's why kapag nag-analyze ka ng metric, kailangan mag-gather ka ng data, no? If need be, kailangan mo mag-conduct ng survey, kailangan mo mag-conduct ng group discussion, no? You can do one-on-one interview with certain people, for example, no? And in that case, makakakuha ka ng data coming from employees, okay? And then from there, you get now to interpret the results of what you have collected. So that's step number 4. Step number 5 is benchmarking. Ang gagawin mo ngayon is you will compare your metrics against industry standard or competitors to understand where your organization stand and identify areas for improvement. Kasi yan naman ang nabibigay ng benchmarking, no? When you compare your metrics, for example, kunwari, yung sinabi natin, turnover rate, no? I remember in some of my classes before, no? If you belong in a particular industry like the BPO industry, meron silang parang going rate in terms of turnover rate. No? Ibig sabihin, kapag lumagpas ka doon, medyo mataas ka na. No? So there's something wrong with your hiring practices. Okay? So yun yung example ng benchmarking na within a specific industry, kino-compare mo yung sarili mo, kamusta yung kanilang turnover. And kapag kinompare ko ba yung sarili ko or yung company ko, for example, am I above or below that particular industry rate? Okay? Yun yung ibig sabihin natin ng benchmarking. Okay? So that's step number 5. Step number 6 is you create recommendations. No? Develop strategies based on the insights that you have gained. No? And example, kapag mababa yung engagement scores natin, no, you could try to consider initiatives such as boosting the morale, such as employee recognition program or career development opportunities. Okay? So these are things that you can work on pagdating sa recommendations. No? And then finally, step number 7, you monitor and you adjust. No? Continuously monitoring the metrics and the impact of implemented strategies, no? Adjusting your approach, no? As needed to ensure ongoing improvement. No? Ibig sabihin, merong short-term and long-term perspective yung ating strategies. No? So meron kang to address a specific problem, no? And then eventually, no? Kasi when you talk about employee engagement, hindi naman yan measure in 1 year. Usually, you need to be able to look into 2 to 3 years of engagement with the company. Okay? But again, these are the steps that you can take, no, pagdating dun sa ating analysis of our HR metrics. Okay? Ayan. So, let me just check our participants so far. Tingnan nga natin, are we learning so far? So far, dun sa ating can you give me a thumbs up sign? If you're so far appreciating, no, yung ating topic, no? Ayan, nandun pa lang tayo dun sa understanding the HR metrics. Ayan, okay. There. Okay, let me now proceed. No, since we have looked at the introduction about HR metrics, no, let's talk about this time. Pag-usapan na natin yung ating first metric. Okay, one of the very critical, no, HR metric na dapat natin tinitingnan. So, employee turnover rate, kung titingnan natin, ano bang definition natin ng turnover? No? So, turnover rate is a key metric that reflects the number of employees leaving an organization during a specific time frame. Okay? So, para ma-compute natin ang turnover rate, no, we can try to divide the number of departure or separation by the average number of employees during the same period. Okay? So, pwede natin gawin, for example, no, versus last year and this year, for example, i-compute mo siya. No? That's why it's important to compute turnover rate like on a monthly basis and also on an annual basis. Okay? So remember, analyzing turnover rate will help you understand workforce stability and identify retention issues within the team. No? Kasi pwede mo siyang gawing, kumbaga parang i-breakdown mo siya. Pwede siyang, organization or department level. Bakit? Because sometimes some retention issues could be very localized. Sometimes also some retention or turnover issue could be company-wide. Okay? So kailangan ihiwalay mo siya. So hindi mo siya maintindihan kapag hindi mo tinignan yung data closely. Okay? So again, this is how you calculate your turnover rate. Now, what are some factors that can actually influence turnover? Okay, here are some. Okay, number one, job satisfaction. No, it significantly impacts employee turnover. No, higher satisfaction would usually lead you to lower turnover rates. No, sabi nga natin, no, yung job satisfaction kasi is something na connected dun sa motivation ng ating employee, for example. And when you talk about motivation, there are two types. No? Meron tayong tinatawag na intrinsic or extrinsic. May mga tao kasi na motivated sila internally, meaning nakikita nila yung purpose nila sa trabaho. Okay? While some are motivated externally, meaning a good workplace, good working team, no? Or good salary and benefit packages, right? So, yun yung nagko-contribute sa job satisfaction nila. So, depende yan kung ano yung motivation nila that leads to job satisfaction. Okay? Number two factor, obviously, is compensation factor. No? So, competitive compensation is crucial for retaining the employees. No? Adequate pay reduces turnover and enhances loyalty. No? That's why, as part of the job that I do as a consultant, I help organizations address yung compensation factor na yan. Kasi minsan, di ba, needless to say, it is really a reason why people leave the company for greener pasture. No? Ibig sabihin, pag may nag-offer sa kanila ng higher pay, better benefits, for example, tapos hindi masyadong makapit yung employee dun sa company, talagang aalis siya sa company. So it really influences turnover. Okay? The third factor influencing turnover could be work-life balance. Okay? A healthy work-life balance is very vital to employee retention. Organization who tries to promote balance, will see lower turnover rates. Mahirap kasi magkaroon ng reputation that you are a toxic workplace. Okay? Kaya kailangan mag-promote ka rin ng work-life balance. Pauwiin mo rin yung mga employees mo in the right time, for example, unless meron talagang mga hinahabol na trabaho. Okay? So that's the third factor influencing turnover. Fourth is organizational culture. A positive organizational culture can enhance employee engagement and retention, reducing the turnover rate significantly. And I've seen this happen. I've observed as a consultant, yung kapag positibo yung culture ng company, nakikita natin people tend to stay in the organization. Pero kapag nagiging very toxic, one of the things that organizational culture can bring is is a bad boss or a negative boss, for example. Kapag ganun tayo, meron tayong mga ganung klase ng bosses, for example, that could influence our org culture. Kaya kailangan careful tayo sa ganun. That could influence turnover. Okay? Now, ano yung mga strategies na pwede nating gawin para naman i-reduce yung turnover, sabi natin doon sa metric. Okay, so tingnan natin. Number one, we have to enhance employee engagement. Again, improving employee engagement can lead to higher job satisfaction and lower our turnover rates within the organization. Second, of course, just like what we have mentioned, we need to offer competitive compensation that can attract and retain top talent in any organization, reducing such turnover. That's why it's important for us to do benchmarking every now and then. So I would always recommend benchmarking with regards to compensation and benefits at least every 3 years for your company. So dapat para maging competitive yung compensation mo. Okay? Third, of course, is to offer career development opportunities. Provide opportunities that will encourage growth, loyalty, and helping to maintain a stable workforce. Remember, sa career development opportunities, it's not always vertical movement. Nowadays, pwede tayo mag-create ng mga tinatawag nating horizontal movement such as job rotation, job enrichment, for example. I-OIC natin siya. Ilagay natin siya in another position, for example, para magkaroon siya ng bagong perspective. So, not everything is about promotion. when the time is right, no? And remember, ang promotion should be composed of performance and potential. Hindi lang dapat performance ang ingredient for career development. Dapat may potential ka rin dun sa susunod na position mo. Kasi mas mahirap kapag na-promote ka pero wala kang potential for the next position. Mas maraming training yung kailangan para magampanan mo yung trabaho for the next position. Okay? So that's the another strategy for reducing the turnover. No? And of course, sabi natin, positive workplace culture. No, we need to foster a positive workplace that can enhance employee morale and increase retention. So creating a positive workplace culture is an important strategy for reducing turnover. Yeah. Okay. So that's the first metric. Okay. The second metric here that we're going to look at would be the time to hire. So in measuring the time to hire, ang sinasabi natin dito, ang time to hire measures the duration from the job requisition opening to offer acceptance, no? It is a very key recruitment metric, no? Kasi ang ibig sabihin nito, from the time na nagkaroon ng job vacancy, no? And then na complete natin yung mismong vacancy, yung requirement, at nagkaroon ng job offer acceptance, that is the measurement of the time to hire. So it's a very key recruitment metric kasi makikita natin yung efficiency ng recruitment effort natin, and at the same time, kung medyo mababa siya or matagal siya, it will now tell us how can we improve yung hiring process natin to attract our top talent. Okay? Another thing that we will try to identify dun sa measurement of the time to hire, yung ating mga bottlenecks, no? Analyzing the time to hire helps identify the bottlenecks dun sa hiring process, no? Enabling the organization to streamline recruitment. Okay? So yan yung sinasabi natin sa measurement time to hire. No? Nakakatulong sa atin to be able to make our recruitment effort more efficient. Okay? Now, paano natin pwedeng ma-optimize yung ating hiring process? Okay. So una, we need to streamline yung ating mga job posting, no? Organizations can improve the efficiency of the hiring process by simplifying and optimizing the job posting to attract the right candidate. What do I mean? Minsan kasi dapat tama yung job posting natin, tama yung content, dapat tama yung information na nandun sa mismong job posting. And it should be posted at the right time, at the right platform. Sabi nga natin. So again, we need to streamline yung ating mga job posting, no? So minsan kapag inayos natin ang job posting, nakakatulong 'yan to be able to draw, no? So just recently, no, I was with a client and I was telling them na baguhin niyo lang, for example, improve niyo lang yung job posting niyo. And when I saw, no, kung paano na in-improve yung job ads nila, for example, nakatulong siya, no? Kumbaga they were able to draw certain number of applicants, for example, kasi mas naging maliwanag yung kanilang content and information na kailangan nila. Okay? So that's one. Second, enhance the candidate screening. Implementing effective candidate screening will help your organization, no, to identify qualified candidates and reduce the time spent for unfit applicants. No? So ibig sabihin, sa screening process natin, kailangan maglalagay tayo ng tamang steps, for example, no? So, yung mga steps natin could include testing, it could include interviewing, it could include job performance, no, in that case, or background checking. All of these are part of candidate screening para lumabas talaga kung sino yung the right person for the right job. Okay? So that's one, no? Enhance natin yung candidate screening. And third, no, is improving communication. No? Better communication between hiring managers and the HR team leads to a more collaborative hiring process. So ensuring alignment on candidate selection. So ibig sabihin nito, para ma-improve natin yung time to hire, kailangan yung hiring manager tsaka yung recruitment team, lagi silang dapat nag-uusap. No? Hindi sila pwedeng hindi mag-usap kasi lalong maapektuhan yung time to hire natin kung hindi natin alam kung ano yung kailangan ng mismong hiring manager. Okay? So, kailangan merong constant communication, no? If need be, dapat meron tayong regular updating with our hiring manager, no? And at the same time, kapag umabot na tayo dun sa shortlisted candidates, no, dapat nagkakaroon talaga tayo ng regular communication. So, those are things that we can do to optimize yung ating hiring process. Okay. So that's the second metric, no, na pinag-usapan natin. Now, the third metric that we're going to discuss, no, is also an important metric, which is called the employee absenteeism rate. Ayan. So, paano ba natin pwedeng i-track yung absenteeism rate? Okay, una, take a look at your attendance records. No? So, tracking attendance records is crucial for understanding absenteeism trends within the organization. It provides you a quantitative data for analysis. No? In terms of HR, one of the more easy, no, yung pinakamadali na makuhang data sa HR is attendance record. Kasi these are all time in and time out, for example, are very easy, no, to track sa HR. Kaya in terms of absenteeism, I would definitely expect HR to be able to track, no, yung ating absenteeism, no. Another could be your employee surveys, no. So conducting employee survey can uncover the reasons behind absenteeism, no. So again, yung survey would be the qualitative data. Yung attendance record is your quantitative data, while your employee survey are your qualitative data, no? And this will complement the attendance records for deeper insights. Kasi ibig sabihin, kapag nag-survey ka, nagtatanong ka doon sa mga employees mo, for example, ano ba yung nagiging reason nila bakit ka uma-absent sa company? So when you combine the two, yung qualitative and quantitative, it becomes easier for you to draw insights from this particular problem. No? And then from there, after you have used yung attendance record and employee survey, try to identify patterns. No? Analyzing attendance data and survey will help you identify patterns in absenteeism. And it will allow you to address underlying issues effectively. For example, ano ba yung typical pattern ng attendance? For example, pag yung nakita natin na parang bakit every Monday, for example, yung employee laging uma-absent during that time. Or typically, no, ito biruan namin sa HR before na bakit every 15 and 30th, no, the day after nung mismong salary ng employee, uma-absent yung mga employees natin. So that could, parang somehow give us an insight kung ano ba yung behavior ng ating employee. Okay? Because remember, absenteeism is a behavior of an employee. And it creates patterns, sabi nga natin, pagdating sa employees. Now, ano ba yung mga possible causes of absenteeism? Ito yung mga nakikita natin. Health issues. It could also be work-related stress, no? Or job dissatisfaction. Or pwede rin personal responsibilities, no? So pwede nating itanong, no? If we are going to do a survey, no? Pwede nating gamitin itong mga ano yung causes ng absenteeism para malaman nyo. Okay? So I suggest that you create, no, a simple survey, no, para makita nyo kung may absenteeism problem kayo. You try to find out kung ano ba yung causes of the absenteeism. Because remember, no, when you know the cause of a problem, that is one step to identify the solution to the problem. Kasi pag hindi natin alam yung cause of the problem, mas mahirap tayo mag-generate ng solution to the problem. Okay? So dapat alam natin yung causes of the problem. Now, paano natin pwede ma-reduce yung absenteeism natin? Here are some strategies. Okay. Number one, definitely, no, mag-promote tayo ng work-life balance. No? Organizations should encourage employees to maintain healthy work-life balance to enhance yung overall well-being and job satisfaction in the company. So mag-offer tayo ng mga activities, seminars, for example, or services, no? Para kung makatulong kay employee. Dito pwede tayo mag-effort, no? Mag-promote ng work-life balance, no? Sports activities are also very encouraged, for example, na i-allow nyo yung mga employees after work na magkaroon sila ng mga sports activities, no? That could promote work-life balance, no? Another, of course, is employee wellness connected to the work-life balance. Provide resources, no, such as fitness programs, mental health support, no, that can significantly reduce absenteeism. Okay? So again, that's another strategy for reducing absenteeism. And finally, another strategy for reducing absenteeism is to have a supportive workplace culture. No? Fostering a supportive workplace culture will help employees feel valued and connected, reducing the likelihood of absenteeism. No? So sometimes kailangan din na the employee will feel na meron siyang pwedeng makausap sa company. No? Mahirap kasi kapag somehow parang um, hindi niya makausap yung HR sa company or hindi niya rin makausap yung boss niya or yung kanyang immediate superior. So that would be a reason bakit tumataas yung absenteeism natin sa company. So again, these are typical strategies for reducing absenteeism. Okay? Okay. Next metric that we will try to look into would be employee engagement level. Okay. So again, paano ba natin pwedeng ma-measure yung ating engagement? There are three general ways. Number one, pwede tayong gumamit ng surveys again. Surveys are a common method to gauge employee engagement by assessing their opinions and satisfaction level. No? Another could be your performance evaluation, wherein you provide structured feedback on employee performance, helping the employee identify engagement and development needs. No? That's why it is recommended na meron tayong regular performance evaluation. No? Kung kaya niyong gawin siyang twice a year or semi-annual na performance evaluation, then that's good, for example. No? Kung hindi naman natin kaya, for example, at least no, have regular sessions na tinatanong mo yung employee regarding the performance, for example. Kasi mahirap kapag talagang wala, for example, na hindi mo alam na puro trabaho lang yung ginagawa natin, hindi na nabibigyan ng attention kung ano yung feedback ng employee natin, hindi natin sila naririnig. Okay? It's very important to hear the voice of the employee also. No? Of course, another method to measure engagement is feedback session. Okay? Regular feedback sessions encourage open communication, allowing employees to express their thoughts and concerns regarding their engagement. No? One of the best practices I've seen, for example, would be yung regular kapihan, for example. No? Dahil mahilig naman tayo sa coffee, for example, no? Si HR can create a kapihan session. No, yung kapihan session, you will encourage supervisor employees to be present, for example, no, para malaman natin no, ano ba yung mga typical employee issues natin, no? Be open, no? Share to us ano ba yung mga na-encounter natin so that employees can express their thoughts, for example. At least kung gagawin natin siyang every quarter, for example, no? So magkakaroon tayo ng feedback session. That's another way to measure engagement. Now, remember, the link between engagement and productivity can actually be seen. No? Employee engagement is crucial for fostering a motivated workforce that will drive organizational success. And that has been proven every time, for example. Makikita mo kapag ang company successful, no, behind a successful company are motivated employees. Okay? So, second, yung impact sa productivity, research indicates that engaged employees no, exhibit higher productivity levels, positively impacting overall business performance. No? Sabi nga natin, para we go to the top of the market, for example, kailangan natin are very engaged employees. No? Ayan. And third, yung positive contribution. Engaged employees no, contribute positively to the teams and to the organization. Again, fostering a healthy work environment. Okay? So again, yan ang link ng engagement and productivity. Kaya importante na ma-measure natin yung ating employee engagement. Okay? Now, paano natin pwede ma-improve yung ating employee engagement? Here are some strategies. Number one, no, make sure that there is effective communication no, to ensure employees will feel valued and informed about company goals. Dapat magkaroon tayo ng mga town hall meetings. Yung kanina sinabi ko, kapihan sessions, for example. Another could be employee recognition. Recognizing employees for their hard work and achievement fosters a sense of belonging and motivation. So kailangan meron naman tayong mga recognition program. No? Yung mga employee of the year, employee of the month, for example, or value. For example, you can focus on ano yung value that you want to emphasize, and then recognize the employee. Kunyari, integrity award, for example, or integrity recognition. So bigyan nyo ng emphasis yung behavior ng employee na nakikita natin. Okay? So that's another way to improve employee engagement. The third is development opportunities. No? So provide opportunities to allow employees to grow their skills, advance their career, no, leading to higher engagement. No? So yung mga development opportunities could be attending trainings, attending conferences. Pwede rin sila yung magbigay kayo ng mga access to learning, learning materials right now. No? Ang daming mga learning materials and resources in the internet. No, kailangan na maging creative tayo. So bigyan natin ng access yung ating mga employees kasi makakatulong sa kanila yan. Okay? And of course, positive work environment. Creating a positive work environment will encourage collaboration and enhance overall employee satisfaction and engagement. Ayan. So next to my metric, no, let me just check our participants. Are we still here? Let me just check our participants. No, let me pause. Ayan. So okay pa naman tayo, no? We're still on our ano, ayan. So so far. Ayan. Okay. Let me continue, no? Nandun na ako dun sa ating metric, no? Towards dun sa ating next metric. So the next metric that we're going to cover is training and development ROI. So paano ba natin pwedeng ma-assess yung training effectiveness? So, assuming, for example, na nagkakaroon tayo ng mga conduct of training programs, paano ba natin pwedeng ma-assess yung ating training effectiveness? No? One, pwede tayong mag-conduct ng feedback surveys, no, to get insights from our participants about the training experience. No? It's very common, for example, when you attend a training, na meron tayong parang training evaluation at the end of the program. No? So that's one. Another, of course, is performance evaluation. No? So performance evaluation, na-assess niya yung effectiveness of the training, no? By measuring yung before and after performance ng employee natin. No? So makikita natin kapag gumawa tayo ng before and after, no? Because of the training, nakaka-contribute pala siya ng performance. For example, yung employee, no, medyo kulang yung kanyang presentation skills, no? So because of the training that was given to that person, no, nakita natin na nag-improve yung kanyang presentation skills. No? That's why yung before and after, makikita natin na merong significant improvement dun sa employee performance. Okay? So doon natin masasabi na effective yung training. Okay? And of course, another way is to monitor the progress. No? Monitoring the progress about the post-training allows the organizations to track improvements and the application of the learned skills in the workplace. Yan yung, again, one of the ways to assess the training effectiveness. Now, again, paano ba tayo mag-calculate ng ating ROI? So, yung ating ROI is calculated by comparing the monetary benefits gained from the training with the cost. No? Ito yung tinatawag nating cost-benefit analysis by providing a clear financial picture of yung naging benefits natin. No? By calculating the ROI of the training, it will help the organization assess the financial impact of the training program, no? And again, it will aid management in terms of decision making. Ibig sabihin, kapag nagiging effective yung training program natin, then we can further invest in training programs. Kasi alam naman natin that yung mga training programs will require cost or expenses. No? That's why it is a necessary expense na kailangan natin gawin para mag-improve yung ating mga employees. Kasi sabi nga natin, pag hindi tayo nagtitrain ng ating employees, for example, no, nalilimitahan yung kanilang capacity, no, to perform their job. At the same time, no, naiisip nila that they can be trained elsewhere. Kaya bumababa yung ating employee engagement. Okay? Kaya importante na nag-i-invest tayo dun sa training programs ng ating mga employees. Okay? Also, to maximize our training benefits, no, we need to align our training goals. No? Training programs should directly support yung mga objectives ng organization. No? And para ma-maximize din natin yung training benefits, we need to assess yung ating mga training needs. No? before tayo mag-conduct ng training program, kailangan meron tayong training needs assessment para malaman natin kung talagang ano ba yung kailangan ng employees natin. Usually, no, yung training needs, nalalaman din natin yan through the performance appraisal. Okay? And of course, another thing to remember in terms of maximizing training benefits is to create a culture of continuous learning. No? Fostering a culture of continuous learning will encourage the employee to seek knowledge and skills and therefore improving overall productivity and innovation. No? I've seen companies, for example, na talagang very supportive sila, no, sa mga employees nila. That's why kapag may mga bagong training, for example, they're the first one to be able to send their employees to training. So yun yung isang example ng company that really believes in the power of training their employees. Okay? Ayan. Okay. Next metric that we're going to look at would be performance and productivity metrics. Sa productivity and performance metric, makikita natin na kailangan meron tayong pag-evaluate ng employee performance, no? So, ano yung kailangan natin para dito? Una, kailangan regular yung ating mga performance review, no? So, conducting regular performance appraisal or review will help assess employees' progress and identify areas for improvement. Yan ang purpose kung bakit tayo nagko-conduct ng employee performance review or appraisal. Okay? Another is to be able to set goals. Effective goal setting will align employees' objectives with organizational goal and drive performance and engagement. Yeah. And at the same time, nagkakaroon din tayo ng peer and manager feedback na sinasabi natin. Okay? So nakakatulong siya for the employee performance. Now, kung titingnan natin, ano ba yung mga productivity measurement techniques na pwede natin gamitin? Okay, una, number one, yung output per hour, no, work natin. No? Measuring productivity through the output, no, will help us identify individual performance level and efficiency. No? Another productivity measurement technique is yung contribution ng employee dun sa team goals. Okay? Evaluating the individual's contribution dun sa goals ng team, no, will provide an insight to collaboration and team dynamics. Okay? And of course, another productivity measurement technique is the quality of work. No? So assessing the quality of work will ensure that the productivity is not just quantity-based focused, but it is also aimed for excellence. Kasi di ba minsan sabi nga natin, may mga employees tayo na na-deliver naman nila, pero yung quality of work suffers. So that could happen to us. No? For example, na-meet mo nga yung target, for example. No? Pero yung quality of clients, for example, na na-bring in mo, kunyari salesman ka, no? Hindi ganun kataas yung quality level. So kaya kailangan, kapag dinidefine mo yung target ng isang employee, no? Pag mini-measure mo siya, sabihin mo na ang measurement natin dito is both qualitative and quantitative. Okay? Para maging fair ka employee. No? So in that case, kailangan sinasabi mo na siya kay employee at the start of the performance appraisal. Okay? Now, how do we, again, enhance performance and productivity? Here are some strategies. Okay, una, recognize the importance of training. No? Providing training will equip your employees with the necessary skills to perform tasks effectively and boost overall productivity. So that's one. Okay, second, setting clear expectations. Okay, when we establish transparent expectations to help employees understand their roles and responsibilities, leading to improved performance. So malaking factor to, no, yung clear expectations. Kasi minsan, napapansin ko with some employees, no, pag tinanong ko sila, ano bang ina-expect sa'yo ng boss mo? No? Isasagot nila sa akin, sir, hindi ko nga alam hindi ko nga makausap si boss, for example. So, that's one critical step that a leader could make to their employees na sabihin kay employee ano yung expectation nila. Okay? Third is to foster collaboration. Encouraging collaboration among team members can enhance creativity, problem solving, and will contribute to higher productivity. So nowadays, mas importante yung collaboration than competition. Okay? And finally also, is to have a supportive work environment. Creative and supportive environment boosts employee morale and satisfaction. Kaya ngayon importante na yung term na psychological safety. No? Ibig sabihin yan, para mag-create tayo ng supportive work environment, dapat no, i-allow din tayo na magkamali, sabi nga nila. No? Hindi pwedeng kailangan perfect tayo lagi. Ibig sabihin, kapag may psychological safety or supportive work environment, people are encouraged to speak up, no, or to correct their mistakes, no? And hindi natin dinadown yung mga tao kapag nagkakamali sila. Okay? So that's one way to enhance performance and productivity. Yeah. Okay. Another recruitment metric this time is cost per hire. Now, in determining the cost per hire, makikita natin to understand recruitment cost, kailangan natin i-consider yung cost for advertising, staffing agency, fees if ever, candidate travel expenses, which could contribute to the over cost per hire. Okay? So again, to calculate the cost per hire, you sum total all the recruitment costs by dividing by the number of hires made. Ayan. So yun yung ating formula. Okay? Ayan. Now, what are some factors that can affect hiring costs? Number one, position level. No? So the level of the position will significantly impact the hiring cost. No? With higher level, it will require more resources to fill up. So that's one, it's a given. Okay? Another factor is recruitment methods. No? So different recruitment methods such as job boards or recruitment agencies can vary drastically in terms of cost and effectiveness. So again, it could affect our hiring cost. Okay? Finally, the length of the hiring process. A longer hiring process can increase cost due to the extended job vacancy and additional resources spent on recruitment. Yeah. So those are factors no, affecting hiring cost. Ayan. So, now, paano natin pwede ma-reduce yung ating mga recruitment expenses? Ito yung mga strategies natin. Okay, one, gamitin natin yung social media, okay, to reach a broader audience and reduce recruitment cost effectively. Okay? Another is to streamline our hiring process. Okay? When we streamline our hiring process, we save the time and reduce unnecessary expenses in recruitment. No? And third, we can utilize employee referral. Okay? So employee referral, based on research, has always been proven to be an effective way to recruit people. So gamitin natin siya. And this will be effective for you. Okay? Okay. The next metric that we're going to cover would be employee satisfaction index. So again, paano natin pwedeng ma-measure ang ating employee satisfaction? We can conduct surveys for feedback. Of course, we can conduct regular interviews with our employees. And of course, we can also have regular assessments with our employees. Now, makikita natin yung impact of satisfaction on retention. Okay? So one, makikita natin na yung employee satisfaction directly correlates no, with increased retention rate, no, which again will foster a positive work environment. Also, lower turnover rates are a significant outcome of satisfied employees. Okay? And of course, organizational growth. No? Satisfied employees contribute to the overall growth of the organization by enhancing productivity and teamwork. Now, paano natin pwedeng ma-improve yung ating satisfaction level? Ito yung mga pwede natin gawin. Open up feedback mechanisms to allow no, organizations to understand employee needs and satisfaction level. No? Recognize achievements of our employees. No? Provide professional development for our employees. No? And of course, as we have said, I've repeated this earlier, create positive workplace culture. Yan. So yan yung mga pwede natin gawin para ma-improve natin yung ating satisfaction level. Finally, we also have yung diversity and inclusion metric. So, bakit importante yung diversity metric? Okay? Una, we need to understand yung composition ng ating workforce, no? Especially if you have a very diverse workforce. So, diversity metrics will allow organizations to analyze the composition of their workforce, highlighting also the disparities in terms of representation, no? And nowadays, importante na ma-foster natin yung inclusion. No, understanding the diversity metric will help us create policies that will foster an inclusive environment for all employees. Okay? So, in tracking diversity and inclusion, kailangan nating tignan yung ating demographic data. So, when I say demographic data, this includes age, gender, training, educational background, etc., etc. No? So, these are demographic data na dapat alam ng HR. No? Another way to track diversity and inclusion is to provide feedback surveys, okay, with our employees. And of course, yung mga regular assessments would also help us track yung diversity and inclusion. Now, again, to promote a diverse workplace, we can offer diversity training programs nowadays. No? We could offer mentorship opportunities with our employees. For example, that will definitely enhance their employee engagement. No? And of course, create equal opportunity policies in the company. Okay? So those are strategies that you can do to promote a diverse workplace culture. Now, as I wind up yung aking discussion this afternoon, let's talk about case studies this time. Let's talk about the application. No? So, nakita na natin yung different metrics. So, tingnan natin yung mga case studies. On the international setting, we have Credit Suisse. Ang ginamit nila, they use predictive analytics to identify the employees at risk of quitting. No? By understanding the reasons behind potential resignations, they implemented targeted retention strategies, no? Saving 70 million annually. Okay? So imagine, just by using HR metric, no, nakaka-save sila sa company. So that's an example or a case study na naging effective yung HR metric. Okay? Another example, Best Buy as a company. This company found a direct correlation between employee engagement and store income. No? Ibig sabihin, nakita nila na kapag mataas yung employee engagement, there's a tendency na tumaas yung income ng store. Okay? So a 0.01 increase in engagement resulted in over 100,000 in annual operating income per store, no? Prompting them to conduct engagement survey quarterly instead of annually. So nakita nyo na, kumbaga, because of yung effect ng HR metric, no, instead na annual yung kanilang employee satisfaction, ginawa nilang quarterly. At nakita nila, naging effective siya. Kasi, minomonitor nila yung engagement. Okay? Now, let's look at the local setting in this case. So sa local setting, makikita natin yung ABC Corporation. This is a manufacturing enterprise in Manila. No? They were faced with manual HR processes, including payroll discrepancies and compliance issues. What they did was to implement a cloud-based HRIS to automate the payroll, timekeeping, and benefits. So, yung transformation na yon improve their operational efficiency and employee satisfaction. So again, as I've said, it's proven na kapag tinrack natin yung employee satisfaction, nag-introduce tayo ng changes sa processes, for example, ng HR, tataas yung satisfaction ng employees natin. Okay? Another local case study, Dentsu Philippines. In response to the pandemic, Dentsu Philippines shifted from the traditional office setup to a hybrid working model. Okay? They focus on results rather than FaceTime, empowering employees to work remotely, no, while ensuring productivity. So this change was supported by the metric of tracking employee performance and engagement, leading to a more flexible and efficient work environment. Okay? So these two are very good case studies kung titingnan natin of the importance of tracking HR metrics. Okay? So I hope I was able to convince you of the importance of tracking the HR metrics, both international and also local case studies. So to conclude my talk this afternoon, okay, so to summarize what I've talked about in terms of HR metrics, nakita natin of how important HR metrics are. It is a vital tool for understanding the workforce dynamics and their impact on organizational success. No? Second, HR metrics enhances performance. No? By focusing on key HR metric, it will help you enhance performance and achieve your goals more effectively. And finally, another conclusion that we have is that employee satisfaction could contribute. Yung key metric of employee satisfaction is a very important element to create a positive work environment. No? And that in itself will help us create a better organization for our company. Okay? So that wraps up yung aking talk for this afternoon. No? So I'm now ready to be able to open the floor for some questions, comments, or reactions from our participants. So, Amy?
All right. So again, thank you to everyone who's still here, who stayed with us here inside Zoom. And thank you very much. So we're now opening the floor or the room rather for your questions. So I know there's only 10 metrics, pero we made sure na talagang every metric may mga recommendations, may mga benefits. So I hope that you were able to get good takeaways out of this talk. So we extended a little bit, all because we wanted to make sure we're able to cover all the topics, no? So, and again, for those who are still here, thank you very much. You are welcome to type your question, or maybe you're welcome to unmute yourself if you would like to us to hear you ask your question yourself. Yeah, so you can just go ahead and unmute. Or you can just put your feedback as well, on the chat box. By the way, with Justine's help, we're going to put a link, on the link. You can actually send us a feedback. It's also a contact form. If you join us earlier, we gave you some information about Talent Reach, including the training programs and the services that we provide. So if you would like to know more about these services and training programs, click on this link and just fill up the form, and we should be able to reach out to you and provide you the information that you will be requesting from us. And also exclusive, for those who attended this particular webinar and who will be expressing, their interest. Nandyan din sa form na yan, because we're giving a 10% discount for our upcoming face-to-face workshop. Again, this is the first time that we're going to do it as a public program, yung writing effective job description. So we've offered this to our clients from the constructions, automotive, as well as in retail, So yung mga naging clients namin, we've had some success stories, after they've gone through the effective job descriptions. We've actually run this several times with a client. Ayan. A question just came in. Okay. As mentioned, with benchmarking, we should compare our data with the same industry. How can we do it? Or can you give sample specifics? So that's one of the questions. Thank you for sending that question to us.
Okay. Well, with the topic on benchmarking, as I've mentioned kanina, that's a totally separate topic, that hopefully, we'll be trying to offer in future webinars for Talent Reach, But offhand, siguro yung masasagot ko regarding benchmarking would be coming from my own experience kung paano ako mag-benchmark with other industries, for example. I remember when I was in the retail industry, for example, it's important for us to be able to have connections with different associations, so or groups na tinatawag, so that we can do some benchmarking, for example. Kasi hindi enough na pag nasa company tayo, kailangan magkaroon tayo ng network with other organizations as well. Okay? And when we try to benchmark, we need to be able to collect data. For example, when we're talking about benchmarking yung mga salaries and benefits, for example, meron tayong tinatawag na dapat pareho yung job description ng kino-compare mo. Okay? So, kailangan ganun. No? Kailangan aalamin mo talaga. For example, if you're talking about magbe-benchmark ka ng call center salary rate, for example, kailangan alamin mo, magtatanong ka doon sa mga kakilala mo, ano yung typical starting rate, for example. So, pwedeng ganon. So, that's a very traditional way. No? Or, of course, you can go towards looking at reports, for example. Pwedeng may mga reports from industries, pwede may mga reports from associations, for example. And nowadays, you can be as creative kasi the internet can provide you such, links, for example. No, nandiyan na yung mga data that you can actually try to uncover. Ayan.
We also have a question here. Do you have a template for an effective job ad? For that, I think we have some templates, pero what I would recommend is, again, we're doing a program on writing effective job description. Part of that, actually, yung mga inclusions, are samples, job descriptions, how to actually write. So, again, it's a writing workshop. So, may steps kasi siya, medyo mahaba yung steps. So, ako talaga personally, I witnessed that, kung paano na isulat. No? So at the end, ang kanilang result is they will actually go home with, if they, let's say, they chose a particular position, they will really be able to go home with a well-written job description na nandun yung mga key competencies and all. Ayan.
Just to answer that, I would like to know. So, whenever you create, like for example, job ads, ang masasuggest ko sa inyo is to always have the following things present sa job ads nyo. Number one, dapat clear yung job title na pinopost natin. Second, dapat yung information natin about the job provides the necessary information about what the job or position is about. And third, make sure na effective yung call to action natin doon sa ating job ads, for example. Dapat alam natin kung paano ba mag-a-apply si applicant, for example. So, kailangan nakalagay yun sa job ads natin. So, those are the essential things na dapat meron yung job ads natin. So, just to summarize yung question about the template of the job ads. Okay. Another question?
According to Rowena, I hope the presentation lecture can be distributed to the participants. Actually, we're offering that. So if you're interested, you can send a request to info.tr@talentreachph.org. So maybe Justin, please type that particular email address. Yeah. So from Rafi, meron po bang specific website yung tungkol sa reports for benchmarking reference?
Yes, there are, pero again, as I mentioned, we can try to we can try to refer you to that, or kapag naggawa kami ng webinar on HR benchmarking, you may want to attend.
Yes, I believe when you do the benchmarking, it's a report that you purchase, no? Yun.
Pwedeng i-purchase or pwedeng you can try to, parang nowadays kasi it's about parang subscription rates, right?
Or
Or
yeah,
subscription based, diba? Yeah. So,
subscription. Yeah.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's the better term. Okay.
yeah.
From Maria Cecilia. Hi, Sir Ronnie. Is it mandatory to have all the 10 metrics or reports in the HR organization?
Okay. That's a very good question to ask, no? Thank you for that. Usually, no, when you talk about HR metrics, although present ko yung top 10, no, sa sinasabi natin, usually hindi tayo kailangan kailangan kuhanin lahat, for example. So, first thing that you need to do is ask the company or ask your business owner, ano yung pinaka-importanting goal that the business wants to achieve, for example. And doon kayo magsimula na mag-identify ng metrics, for example. So, for example, pag sinabi na, o kailangan magstay yung employees natin. So, ibig sabihin, ang metric na importante, turnover. Ang importante, satisfaction, for example. So, doon kayo magsimula. And then from there, kung ano pa yung necessary, tsaka nyo siya sundan. Okay? So, hindi nyo siya kailangan i-monitor ng lahat, for example, kasi mas nakaka-confuse sa atin. Start with something very practical, connect it first with the business goal. Kung ano yung pinaka-importante sa kanila, or every organization would have their priorities in this case. So, find out your priorities first. Doon ka pwede mag-start ng HR metrics.
So again, thank you everyone. Thank you to all those sending in their questions. So if you would like to be private in your questions, you can direct it to either Justin or or myself for the question. So if you don't want to identify the question, if you would like to remain anonymous, no, so you can do so by sending a direct message to either me or Justin. Yeah. So thank you again. So sa mga nandito pa, no. So we're posting again the link, no, to our contact and feedback form. I'm again sharing that all the participants today gets to have a 10% discount, no? If you would like to attend our face-to-face workshop on May 30th, writing effective job description. This is the first one, so we're the first run, no? So we're very much excited to share this because it's been one of the most effective workshops that we've conducted as an in-house program with our clients, and we've seen results from them, no, with feedback. So if you would like to avail of the discount, please click on the feedback form, and para we can identify you, we can fast track your registration automatically. When we send the confirmation to you, you will automatically get the discount and how to proceed with your registration. So I know it's still on the 30th, but we only are able to accept 20 participants. We want to be able to manage, since this is a writing workshop, we want to be able to focus on the participants who will be joining, so that when they leave this session, meron sila talagang uwing effective job description. So, yeah. Okay, so I think we have a few more minutes, no, to spare for one or two more questions. So kung may tanong pa kayo, please you can unmute or type your question on the chat box. Yeah, let me just check kung meron ba akong na-miss. Thank you to actually those who are giving their feedback here from Mylene. The webinar is very informative and gain another insights that I can use as HR. Thank you very much. From our client, Ms. Maruth. Thank you. Mind-blowing insights on the pivotal role of HR in shaping employee development and success. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, so I think that's I hope, no, that we can see you again on our next program. So there will definitely be one this coming April. So the link is there. So please do reach out to us. No, if you have attended, if you have clicked and filled up the form on this link that we put on the chat box, you're automatically getting a 10% discount on the face-to-face workshop. So we hope that you can join us as our first run. So for those who joined us today, thank you very much. Please do follow us on our Facebook page. You're also welcome to join our Talent Reach community. It's called Talent Reach Community. So just search for that on the Facebook group, and we'll welcome you in that group. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you, everyone.